we always feel like there isn't enough time. We often think that if we had more free time, we could finish everything we need to do. But even when we have over control our schedules, we still feel short of time. Sometimes we even fail to finish things that matter most. So in this video, I want to share about my thoughts about time and what actually gives time its value. What is for time? Animals spend all of their time surviving, but for humans, time is not only about survival. It's about learning, creating, building things for the future. Human beings have been able to do this partly because we learned how to control fire. Cooking food made it easier to digest and gave us more available energy over a very long period of evolution. This helped create the conditions for our brains to develop. And our brains changed everything. Instead of relying on physical strength, humans learned to use intelligence, cooperation, tools, and technology. Eventually, humans became the most dominant species on Earth. Later, when humans began farming, we developed a different relationship with time. A farmer plants a seed and then has to wait. You can't make a crop grow faster just because you want it to. So you have to wait for the right season. Maybe this one reason humans gradually became more aware of time. But even today, humans developed very different relationships with time. Some people live mainly in the present, but others are willing to sacrifice the present for a better future. And it brings me to a question I've been asking myself. Why do we always feel we don't have enough time? I think this answer is simple. We want too much. We want to learn a language, exercise, read books, make money, take care of our families, create content, and enjoy time. But we only have 24 hours a day. The real challenge isn't finding more time. It's about learning how to decide what deserves our time, which things should come first, which things can wait, and which things don't need to be done. That's why I think we need to keep asking ourselves, what are my long-term goals and what are my short-term goals? Finding answers may take months or even years, but I think it's well spent. Speaking of understanding ourselves, I'd like to recommend something that has helped me a lot: writing. Writing isn't only for writers. I think everyone can benefit from writings. You don't need to write a book. You can simply keep a journal or write down a few thoughts every day. Why? Because writing takes something abstract inside your brains and turns it into something visible and concrete. Once your thoughts are on page, you can look at them, you can question them, you can organize them, and you can discover what really matters to you. If writing becomes part of your daily routine, just like exercising regularly, your muscle exercise, your muscle change with exercise, and your thinking can change through writing. So, what determines the valuable of time? I think one of the most important ideas is compounding. Compounding doesn't to money. Repeated actions became habits. Habits influence our lives. Good habits can accumulate. Bad habits can accumulate too. Imagine a farmer trying to help a seedling grow faster by pulling it upward. What would happen? The plant would probably be damaged. You can't force something to grow by skipping the time it needs. The same thing happens when we learn a skill. You can't you can't become fluent in a language in overnight. You can't build strong muscles in one workout, and you can't build your wealth in one day. Growth needs time. I've also been thinking about education. In some ways, education means investing time in your future. Imagine being an ordinary person born in the era before printing technology. Access to books and education would have been extremely limited. People from wealthy or privileged families, on the other hand, could could spend more time learning because they didn't have to spend all their time worrying about food, clothing, and shelter. Now, education is much more accessible to ordinary people. But there is another question we should ask. What are we using that education for? For many people, life becomes a cycle. Work, sleep, spend money, and work again. But some people use their time differently. They use time to accumulate knowledge, skill, relationships, and assets. The difference can completely change the future. I started learning English at the age of 42. 3 hours of English study might not seem like much when you look at one day, but I'm now spent about 900 days doing it. When I look back, I realized that those hours could have disappeared into an ordinary daily life. Instead, they became English learning time. And English became part of my daily routine. That's the power of accumulation. One of the most important things money can buy is control over your time. If you don't have enough money to support yourself, you may have to work 8 hours or even longer. But if you have enough financial resources, you have more choice. You can decide whether to work, what kind work to do, and how much time to spend doing it. So money isn't only about buying things. It can also buy you more control over your future time. But there is another side in this. What happens when we expend with credit cards and accumulate too much debt? We are spending our future money today. And in a sense, we are borrowing our future time. The things we consume today may have to be paid for with our work tomorrow. And that comes with interest. That's something I've been thinking about as a parent. My daughter is 15 now. We provide what she needs to live. But if she wants something beyond her basic needs, she has to pay for it herself. I'm not trying to make her life difficult. I just want her to understand consumption also accumulates over time. There may comes a day when I'm no longer here. She still has to support herself. If her desires continue to grow, but she hasn't learned how to earn and manage money, she could end up spending her future time just to pay for her present desires. I don't want that for her. I want her to control over her own time. For all of us, time is both fair and unfair. It's fair because we all have 22 hours a day, but it's unfair because we don't all start the same conditions. Where were you born? Who are your parents? Are they rich or poor? Are you healthy? Does your country has peace or war? Do you access to education? There are many things we cannot choose. That's why the amount of control we have over our times can be completely different. I'd like to recommend a book named The Happiest Man on Earth. The author, Eddie Jaku, was a Jewish survivor of Nazi persecution. Some of the most important years of his life were taken from him. But after the war, he chose to not spend the rest of his life complaining about the unfairness of fate. Instead, she used the time he had left and tried to live a meaningful life. I think that's something powerful about that. We cannot control all the time we are given, but we can decide what to do with the time I have. And finally, I've realized that we shouldn't pay attention to time. We should pay attention to attention. Your time doesn't automatically become valuable just because you spend a lot of it on something. The value of your time relying partly on where you consistently put your attention. You can spend 3 hours scrolling on your phone. You can spend 3 hours learning a language. The clock doesn't care. Both activities take 3 hours, but their consequences may be completely different. That's why I believe writing is so useful. Writing helps you discover what matters to you. Once you know what matters, you can start protecting your attention. Maybe this video, not lazy, just brains hijacked, can help you understand how attention works. Your attention determines where your time goes, and where your time goes for many years shape your life. That's something I'm still thinking about. Maybe the most important question isn't how much time do I have? Maybe it's what am I doing with the time I have? Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and share it with others. I'll see you next video.